Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And welcome to Thursday's edition of the dceu Daily. And let's get right into it this morning. Sorry about that, I was looking down on my device, wasn't I? Because it was playing up. Right, yes, today's dceu Daily is titled the relentless hate for a piece of art. Yes, we are talking to the negativity, about the negativity that's been directed at Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips. Now, the other day, Todd Phillips said something about why he won't make comedies anymore. And I'm going to read to you what exactly he said, because perspective in this game is really, really important. Then I'm going to read you out a tweet from Jamelia Jamil, from The Good Place, right? She's got a big mouth. She says a lot of things. Some of the things I agree with and some of the things I don't. But the very element of her quote tweeting makes her a hypocrite. And many of these so-called verifieds who are in the same industry as Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix have called them out. But what are they calling them out for? So let's see what Todd Phillips actually said. Go try to be funny nowadays with this woke culture, he says. There were articles written about my comedies don't work anymore. Let's start again. Go try to be funny nowadays with this woke culture, he says. There were articles written about why comedies don't work anymore. I'll tell you why. Because all the fucking funny guys are like, fuck this shit. That's a quote, by the way, YouTube. Because I don't want to offend you. It's hard to argue with 30 million people on Twitter. You just can't do it right. So you just go, I'm out. You know what? With all my comedies, I think that what comedies in general all have in common is they're irreverent. So I go, how do I do something irreverent? But fuck comedy. Oh, I know. Let's take the comic book movie universe and turn it on its head with this. And so that's really where that came from. So what he's actually, look, he's talking, this is the problem with social media these days. People are voted down for everything they say. And it's ridiculous, right? It's absolutely ridiculous. How many people have spoken about a certain reactions to comedy? Ricky Gervais, who's loved by all these SJWs, by the way, has made the point constantly on his Twitter and even on his stand-ups that people shouldn't be offended by comedy because it is absolutely a joke and it's part of it. And he insists on continuing to do certain of things with comedy. He's joked about suicide, he's joked about murder, and he's standing up to these people. So let's have a read what Jamelia Jamil quote tweeted. Now, I'm not going to read you all the quote tweets that they all were throwing at this guy. I mean, what's the guy who did For Ragnarok, Waititi, yeah? Well, he basically quote tweeted saying, he's funny. It's astounding to me that people, artists, from the same industry didn't just knock on Todd's door, didn't just DM him and say, look, Todd, we don't agree. Let's have a chat about it. No, they're trolling the man on Twitter. Think about that. These are people who constantly lecture us about being kind to each other, right? And then they're quote tweeting the man from his point of view. All the man did was give his opinion, his point of view, and tell the interviewer why he doesn't want to make comedies anymore. That's it. That's the end of it, right? So let's go back here. So let's go back to Jamelia Jamil. Now, this is her pinned tweet, and this is the hypocrisy of these people. It is never too late to check yourself and right your wrongs. I used to be a slut-shamey, judgmental, and my feminism wasn't intersectional, whatever that means, enough. Nobody is born perfectly. Woke. Listen, read, learn, grow, change, make room for everyone. We aren't free till all of us are free. Look, it's great to care about the world, Jamelia, and you are clearly a very passionate woman, but you are very confused about the message you are spreading. Now, I'd say around 30-40 million women on Twitter claim to be absolutely feminists. But they don't know the meaning of the word. They do not know the meaning of the word. Do they know that women, many moons ago, before they were even born, before they were even an itch in their mummy's pants, right, were absolutely fighting for their own rights, sacrificing their own lives, risking their freedoms to fight for women's rights. What is Jamelia Jamil, as a feminist, actually fighting for in Western society? Absolutely jack, right? There's still this thing where some women don't get the same pay as men, which is disgusting. So we're fighting for that. We're all trying to do that. But these people are not genuine. So in one hand, she talks like that. And let me tell you something. All these verifieds quote tweeted this article about Todd Phillips with the same kind of rhetoric. So let me read it out to you. And yet, The Good Place is pretty funny. Fleabag is pretty funny. Barry is pretty funny. Impractical Jokers are pretty funny. The Favourite was pretty funny. It is possible to be funny even when you aren't punching down. We just punch across or punch ourselves. And then she's got that MOJ. No, Jamelia. No, Jamelia. First of all, I don't know about American humour, but British humour is about punching down. It's what it works. Every sitcom I grew up with, if it was up to you, Jamelia, you would cancel them all. You know, you talk about we can't be free till everybody's free. What kind of freedom are you talking about, Jamelia? A freedom where you tell people how to be funny, how to do their jobs. The point is here that if you had a problem with Todd, you're in America, you work on The Good Place where it's the final season, so you won't be working on that show for long. And you know what? I love The Good Place, but it's hard for me to watch it now when I see her. Before I knew who she was and what she was saying, I could watch that show without any problem. I thought, bloody hell, this woman's amazing. She's a great actor. She's going places. She probably still is. But then with all the crap that she says, and don't get me wrong, she talks about a lot about Instagram influencers and, you know, trying to influence diet pills, and it's disgusting, and she's trying to fight that. And that's great. But part of her message is extremist. It's extreme left. It's dangerous when you tell people what they should do in their field of art. Now, to be fair to her, I'm using her as an example. She hasn't spoken out about the movie and the art of the movie and that it's going to cause violence. But at the end of the day, when you come out as a verified and you start talking about somebody else, because what's interesting about this, and let me reread this to you again, and yet The Good Place is pretty funny, Fleabag is pretty funny, Barry is pretty funny, and Practical Jokers are pretty funny. And she goes on and on. Well, Todd Phillips never said that content isn't funny. He just said, as someone who does comedy, he likes to do comedy a certain way, and he's fed up of it. He doesn't want to sit there, tiptoeing around watching what he says. This is the problem with the woke culture. And to have a problem with woke culture, you don't have to be on the right. You can be on the left. You can be a moderate left. It's not about politics. It's about these extremists trying to take control of what we eat, what we watch, and what we indulge in. And they will never do that, and they will never achieve that. Because basically, Twitter is an echo chamber, and so is social media. But for me, this is just an example of the relentless attack of this film. If it's not them criticising the film, they're criticising Joaquin Phoenix. They're saying that they're cancelling him, and, you know, in woke culture means they're not interested in him anymore. But these are irrelevant people. This film is going to have a massive opening. People are excited about it. They're looking forward to it. It's going to be successful. But I warned you months ago, and I hate to repeat myself, but I think it's very important for everyone to understand. I warned you that SJWs would go for this movie, but I never knew on what level. And it's amazing, and it's credit to Warner Brothers and Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix that this film hasn't been hurt. In fact, on Twitter, any negativity I read about the Joker movie, I just quote tweets saying free marketing. It's the best free marketing. I told you when I saw the test screening months ago, this film is bulletproof. It's bulletproof because Todd Phillips made it, because Joaquin Phoenix is in it, and it's bulletproof because it's one of the most amazing, greatest, most unique pieces of art I've ever seen. And the attacks says something about the extreme left, because extremism, left or right, is a horrible thing. And the extreme left are as full of as much hate as the extreme right. What I despise about both of them on both sides, they brought art into it. And I hate that. I hate that the far right was supporting Alita. Alita is a wonderful film, and I will support that film to the end of my days, but I hate the fact that they were supporting it to try and hurt Disney, to try and make a point to other studios. I don't like that. So both extremism on both sides is just as bad as each other. And they've, the extreme left have really, really gone for Joker. They've wasted their oxygen. They've wasted their energy. They've wasted their whole time. And for me, it's a sad state of affairs. I mean, the other night, I think Joaquin Phoenix was being interviewed in America, and they showed a scene of him where he's kind of sitting there and he's having a go at the DP or whoever he was having a go. It wasn't aggressive. He was just sitting there saying, look, I'm trying to do something real here. And you know what? When you see the results, and the whole thing is, Todd Phillips was meant to have sent this in, and everyone was having a go at Todd Phillips. How could you do this to Joaquin? He looked uncomfortable. And it turns out the whole thing's a gag. And I think it's great how Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, and Warner Brothers are now trolling these extreme left trolls. You have tried to target this movie. You've targeted his actor. You've targeted its director. You've targeted the character they're playing. You've targeted the commentary on mental health, illness, and poverty and depravity because of your racism. Because this man is a white actor playing a white character, and we must never empathise with a white man suffering. Records of men and young men are killing themselves every year. And the extreme left, who tell you to be kind to each other, talk about freedom, talk about you can't be free till everyone's free, are abusing a film because it stars a white man. I want you to think about that. I love all forms of life, animals, white people, black people, Indian people, all minorities. I love you all, but you're not in boxes as far as I'm concerned. I might meet one Asian woman and I may not like her. Sorry about that, it's a moth. Where's a moth come from this time of day anyway? I may meet an Asian woman, I may not like her. No, it's not because I'm a racist, because I didn't like her. But then 5 minutes later, I meet another Asian woman and I think, freaking hell, you're amazing. Because to me, you're not Asian, you're not black, you're not white, you're an individual. But to SJWs, who are the biggest bigots, the biggest racists, put everyone in a box. There's no bigger racism and bigotry than that. And they have targeted this film because it stars a white man. I want you to think about that. Extremism is about hate. It's about voting people down. It's about attacking people. Taiki Waititi, that's his name, I got it there eventually, and people like Jamelia Jamil have basically gone at Todd Phillips instead of talking to him privately, right? Instead of saying, do you know what, Todd, I respect your art, but I don't agree. They've came out and attacked him. Now, they may have done it in clever, soft, gentle ways, but they've done it. It's rude. They're from the same industry. So, show some artistic respect for each other. But the targeting of this film is not just the fact that it stars a white man who's suffering with mental health, right, which is great commentary. And the commentary is there, and it isn't nothing, and it does matter. Everybody matters, right? It doesn't matter what colour you are and what gender you are. But this goes beyond that. They hated Man of Steel and Batman v Superman because they said they were bad movies, which we know they wasn't. Now, there's an artistic, one of the greatest films ever made, artistically, right? It's another artistic DC movie, both visually and emotionally. Just like Batman v Superman is, just like Man of Steel is. And because it goes against what they want, which is these easy spoon-fed MCU movies, and they're trying to protect Disney from being taken over by WB, they will use any tool in their armoury to bring it down. But that isn't going to work like it did with BVS and MOS, because we've got Walter Hamada now. We've got Ann Sarnoff now. And you've seen how they've been able to utilise and turn it all on the SJWs. And this is just the beginning. They will make other films and other films. They're going to gun for birds of prey. They're going to start saying women shouldn't be called birds. They're going to start talking nonsense. They're going to start targeting Margot Robbie because she doesn't come out and attack white men, right? Because DC actors, female actors, don't attack men. They do their art, they do their job, and they say our film's for everyone, like Patty and Gal did with the first Wonder Woman. But extremists don't like that. So they're going to be gunning for the films that we love. And we are going to stand up for our creatives and our actors and our films. People say we shouldn't take sides, that film franchises aren't a football team. They are. I love DC. I've loved DC Superman the movie. I will always stand up for DC. Somebody has to, because they're constantly on the attack, and we can't allow that to happen.